Hey, it's Brad. It is day 24 of our 30-day summer habitat marathon, and I need to figure out what my access is looking like in the creek. Let's check it out. In all honesty, I don't have a real lot of time today, so it's going to be more of a scouting mission today. And we're going to go take a look at what our creek looks like from the actual creek. Now, I've seen it from up above where it's deer level, but this is my primary access spot to all of my hunting stands throughout the property. The creek traverses the entirety of the property, and it's a great way for me to get to and from my stands with minimal intrusion to the deer. But as you know, we had a very significant water flow event earlier in the summer, and it has done some pretty significant things to the way the creek is laying right now. Matter of fact, I haven't been down there yet since that big creek event happened. So we'll take a look in just a second. So I'm standing at the entrance of where I typically enter the property during the hunting season. And in order to make this as accessible as possible, I have come in and I've already weed trimmed all the way to where I access the creek. So I did do that. So I guess it technically is a little bit of work that I did today. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually check out for the first time what we're looking at. And we don't have time today to do the whole entire creek. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I even can. We have a long way that we have to go. It's probably, for the farthest stand, probably a good mile of walking. And during the last several years, we've had drought or less rain than normal, and it's been no problem. It's literally just an issue of me knocking down the weeds that have grown during the summer, and we're good to go. This time around, though, we're looking at some areas where, even though the creek's flow is pretty low right now, which is expected, there's some areas that, because of that high water event, the creek has dug out some areas where there's more ponding. And so that may make it more of a challenge to get around, because even as the drier weather is occurring, you're not going to dry that totally out. So I'm going to have to maybe look at spending more time taking care of this. So why don't we stop talking about it and let's get going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just head over to the creek here. And one of the best things that's happened is that in the last 10 days, we've had zero rain. And after getting all that moisture and rain early in July and into August, this is a great thing. The only thing that I'm really concerned about is my growing food plots, but I think there's enough subsoil moisture that we're probably okay. So that's probably a good thing. All right, so it doesn't take me long to actually get to the creek. And again, this is the first time that I've actually seen the creek at this level since I have been away. So I'm gonna flip the camera around here, and you can I'll talk through it as we're kind of looking here, all right? All right, so this is the area where I come in here, and back in the day, I actually had, when it was so dry, I was able to literally dig in to the wall of the creek. I put in stair steps, and that was great when it didn't have any rain. But once it rains, then it gets a little soggy, obviously. And so what I did was a year or two ago, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I ended up getting some bricks that I had for another project, and I put those in, which have been great, except when the water flow gets up this high. Now again, I'm standing in the creek right now, the creek bed. You can see this pushed down vegetation here. That is how high the water gets. I know I've talked about that before, but it is just amazing the amount of water flow that we get here. So anyway, as that mud rushes over, it is covering this up. So I'm gonna have to clean this up at some point. We'll keep moving. So this is pretty typical. You have these areas where there's some ponding, which is fine. I can actually walk around it right here. This is not a problem. I can make this work. So it's still a little soggy here. Again, even though we haven't had rain in 10 days, you also have all the water that was here that had to evaporate. So, so far so good. I can navigate against this. The creek is usually big enough that it's wide enough that I can make it happen. Now here we have a bigger issue. So this is where I was concerned about. This pond, I've never seen it pond this much. This isn't good because this is early on in the process here. So there's a little land bridge that as it dries out, I might be able to use. We might try that. I don't know if I want to try it right now. I do have my hunting boots on. That's pretty muddy. I don't know if we're going to try that. Let's try going around over here. Now again, it always would benefit me if I go up higher, because if we do get another significant rain event, which is possible, it's usually less likely in the fall, to be honest. But it's probably better for me to take a pathway even when it is super dry. All right, we did it. We got over here. All right, so we got past the pond here, and all right, so the creek, I'm gonna come down here real quick. The creek is actually still flowing, so it's not like it isn't moving still, but it gets stuck in these little pools here. And it's almost like I, at some point, maybe need to make my own channel, but not this year. Oh, this is wild. I've never seen this before. Again, this doesn't make it impossible for me to get by, but here's just a standing pool. It's been dug out. Water is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you can see this either. There's a bunch of minnows in here. I don't know if you can see them. I'll zoom in. All right, let's keep going. Again, we're not going to go very far today because I don't have a ton of time, and I don't even know which way to go here. I guess here's our little land bridge. All right. Now, we're coming up on the area that probably is the most concerning to me, and it's really close to where my first tree stand is in one of my hidden food plots. And so far, so good. This is not a real big deal, and I can probably go across here. All right, when this area is relatively low, I can sometimes just walk through here. I'm actually going up a little bit higher than I normally do, but here's what concerns me. Whoa, okay, that's muddy. All right, so this is it. This technically isn't that deep. It's actually relatively clear, but this is gonna be so muddy, I'd get stuck in this. And if we can kind of go around the corner here, we get the water just a little bit. So see this hill right over here to the right of me there? I don't have it trimmed up yet, but at the top of that hill is where I have a ladder that goes up to my first stand. So that's gonna be our first project when we come out here. We haven't even really started to see much out here yet. All right, so this isn't shocking what I'm seeing. I pretty much anticipated it because I did have a higher rain event a couple years back where it kind of ponded like this. The good news is it looks like over the next 10 days, additionally, we're gonna have no rain. So all that drier weather should make it more passable when I get a chance to come back out here and actually attack this, but it probably is gonna take longer than I'm typically used to. Even though my weed removal is gonna be a lot less, I may have to actually create some new pathways because this is gonna be the priority that I have next. If I do not have access in this creek bed, I cannot get to my tree stands without alerting the deer. I do not want it, like all the areas that I drive through during the non-hunting season, absolutely off limits during the hunting season. And so I can't afford to take alternative routes. The only time I've ever done that is literally last year after I broke my arm. I took the risk of walking in on one of the equipment paths to my blind because the risk was worth the reward. Obviously, I ended up taking that big buck. But all things being the same, I do not want to use any other access on this property except through the creek because of how much it hides my movement and even my scent because it's farther down in the creek. So that's our plan. I need to get out of here for now. The mosquitoes are getting bad, but I'll meet you back up top. Well, that was pretty much what I expected. I didn't think it'd be perfect, and it wasn't as bad as it could be. And matter of fact, since we've had that dry weather, I am actually a little bit encouraged, especially if we give it a little bit longer. And the reason I say that is because this is the last day I'm going to be out here for a little bit, because today we are taking Grace, my daughter, back to college. And if you've been following my channel, Grace has been able to appear in several of my recent videos, and it was just so great to have her. She's a lot of fun. We get along great.
Probably about a third of the way done with that stack. I'm sweating like crazy, so I'm gonna go change. I don't know where Brad is right now, but I'm getting sick of it because Lord knows how long it takes him to go run one errand.
I'm looking forward to her making some cameos down the road when she has a chance, but she's pretty busy. She is a junior now and as a nursing student, she's doing an awesome job. Couldn't be more proud of her, but we got to get her back to school today. So I'm going to be, actually after that, my wife and I are heading up to our Door County property, and there's still going to be some work I'll be doing up there, so I'll probably put in some episodes there that may count towards this or may not, I don't know. We still have plenty of work to do, but we will definitely be getting these accelerated because I've been so busy trying to cram all this in before needing to leave. I've been slowing down on my editing, so once we're past the point where we get Grace to school, I'll be getting these out more frequently. So maybe by the time you see this, I may already be back and back at it. So I'll hopefully be caught up. I appreciate your patience. My hope again was to get this done on a pretty much a daily basis, but the reality is the early rain just put me so far behind. I just had to do what I had to do to get the work done, because we still got to get the work done. I love to do all the recording of it, but the work still needs to be done. I did record it, obviously, but sometimes I have to deselect some things. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. We got to get Grace to school. It's been awesome to spend some time with her in addition to the videos that you've seen. That was great.
Swanks, man.
How you doing?
Yeah, but like, I don't need that. I'm a girl. I don't need that.
Oh boy.
Feminism.
460.
Jeez, dude.
Take that. Oh yeah. There's been a lot of off-camera time that we've had together, and as much as I love doing deer hunting and habitat work, and you know it, that's why I'm doing this entire video and this entire channel. But do not get so focused on stuff that you miss out those important times that you have with family, for sure, and friends. Do not sacrifice that just for the sake of getting that big buck. There is no buck out there, I don't care how big, that is worth sacrificing relationships for. So sometimes you're going to be busier than others. I get that, and you're going to have to work out some deals with your loved ones because there's going to be times where you're going to be busier than others. But honestly, I'm behind a little bit because of the time I chose to spend with family. And I'm not going to apologize for that, and nor do I regret it. And part of this channel is just the raw emotion, from the exhilaration of that harvested deer to the disappointment when it doesn't go right, or the difficulties of hot and humid weather or freezing cold weather. But this, when Grace was a freshman, her mom and I were a wreck when we dropped her off because we just were in that transition of life. And she's a junior now, and we've kind of gotten used to her being gone, but she's a joy to have around, and we're going to miss her. But this is one of the joys of being a parent, is seeing your kids grow and be successful and spread their wings and see them as they become their own person. And Grace has definitely done that, and we're going to see her shortly again. She's going to come home for fall break, or we may connect up with her. She's only 5 hours away from us, so it's not that far. But it's definitely going to be a bittersweet moment when we drop her off again. Well, we have a lot of content that's coming up soon. I'm also going to be able to get out some other videos that I haven't been able to get to as well. So we'll be getting a lot of content out there for you. Really, thank you so much for checking out my channel. I'm just a small channel. I do this because I love it, and I do appreciate your time. We've been gaining some subscribers, so thanks if you're new. I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to let other people know about this, even if you're not a deer hunter or a bow hunter, I do a lot of other projects, and I have some really cool videos coming up that are applicable to land ownership and maintenance, and I really hope you check that out. And things that you don't always love, that's fine, you can skip those. But I will be on shortly. Matter of fact, again, by the time you see this video, I might even be back here in south central Iowa working again, and I'll be doing a better job of getting on top of getting those out daily. And so you can come back and definitely watch Brad work. I think the only work I have next is working on keeping it together. See you next time.